Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Leah Nash. I am your executive director. I'm a Filipino-American woman with hair to my shoulders. I'm wearing a sweater and a scrub today. It's a little cold, and I'm in my mid-40s. So welcome, and thank you so much for being here. It is wonderful to see so many familiar faces and so many familiar names. And I'm so glad you're interested in this topic for today. What are we talking about? We're talking about engaging our younger members. And as long as I've been a member of the league, this has been something that we have been striving for. So I'm very happy to introduce you to our speakers today. We're going to be hearing from a tag team of two professional, wonderful women that I have had the chance to work with. The first one is Felecia Jett, Dr. Felecia Jett. Felecia sits on our board of directors. And before that, she was our state membership chairperson. I work with Felecia on a monthly basis throughout the year. She's a wonderful leader. She's also our voter services chairperson. She has great ideas and hopes for expanding our membership. So thank you to Felecia for being our speaker. And we also have Kay Havastelin. I have the pleasure of working with Kay pretty much on a weekly basis. She's here in the office with our staff. And I'd like to take a moment to tell a quick story about Kay, and I hope she doesn't mind. The story is this. Kay started with us as an intern in the summer of 2022. We threw her in, she started doing work, and she came to me and said, Leah, I don't think I can do this internship. I've worked in food services, I have never worked in an office, and I'm kind of scared. I'm paraphrasing. I said, Kay, let's have some pizza. Come back to the office, we'll have some pizza and we'll talk. And we had a quick chat. And after that, Kay decided to stay on as maybe a temporary basis or a trial basis. And she did so well and embraced our mission so much that she has been a leader in our internship program, but we've also hired her as our office administrator. And as office administrator, she has expressed an interest in expanding our membership to young adults. And that is what she's here to talk to you about today. So Kay, I'm so happy to be able to be the one to introduce you today. I do see our president, Cecile Spoon, has joined us. And so I'm gonna pitch it over to her. Cecile, it's good to see you, and go ahead.
Thank you, good morning, and thank you for those introductions, Leah. I was on another important call that went just a few minutes long, so I'm glad everybody carried on. And I'm Felecia. I heard Leah introduce you and introducing Kay. And what we really want to do with the league is we are here for everybody. We are particularly interested in marginalized groups because that's how we started, and we know the power and the unmet needs in many marginalized groups. And so we definitely have a history and a heart for that. But right now, we want to focus on a marginalized group that we talk about from time to time, and that is youth. They have their own interests. They have their own way of communicating. I know I've got 20-something-year-old children and nephews and nieces, and they, they're always laughing at my dinosaur ways in terms of how I communicate. So it's really, really important for us to connect with our youth and hear from them directly on how they want to communicate and how we can communicate with them. They also have their issues as millennials and other terms that are Zoomers. I've seen the word Zoomers. And we want to know what are the things that they're interested in, because they really care. Sometimes they don't believe in the political system, they don't believe in civic engagement, but we all know that that's the way for them to get their needs met and for them to work harder. So we're really, really grateful to Kay for taking the lead, and for Leah and letting her have that opportunity in developing plans. And we're super grateful to our board member, Felecia Jett, who has tremendous organizational skills, logistics skills, and knows how to pull things together, to hear from them how that we want to do this targeted outreach, focused, thoughtful outreach to the youth, to get them involved, to learn from them, learn techniques, learn topics, learn their interests, and basically help them become their own best leaders. We want to co-partner with them and co-learn with them because, again, I know when I deal with you, I always learn so many things from them as we go on. Oh, and maybe the terminology is young adults and not youth. I may be showing my age again there. So our young adults, and let them teach us, and let us teach them the things that we are really good at: organizing, process, how to have your voice be heard. Those are the kinds of things that we would like to share and mentor. So I would like to turn it over to our board member, Felecia Jett, to hear from her some of her general ideas and concepts with regards to membership and reaching out to our young adults. And then I have a few questions for her. Then we'll hear from Kay. So take it away, Felecia.
Well, thank you, Cecile and Leah, for the great introduction, and good afternoon to everyone. I am African American, and as you probably can see, I have more gray hair than black. I have lipstick on and a black and white top. As you know, and as Cecile has said, the League of Women Voters Florida has been interested in young citizens for a long time. One of the most noted efforts that I can recall is the fact that a lot of students and young adults can have a free membership. And we were the ones that led that. And that has continued, not only in our state, but it has been embraced by US. But the reality is, I think the time is right. And before I move forward to that, let me just say, let's first define what young voters or young adults are as we discuss today's topic. We define those between the ages of 18 and 40. And these are referred to as the millennials, which is the Gen Y, and the Zoomers, which are sometimes called the Gen Z. So not only do we have an opportunity here to increase the voting power within our state, but what I've learned, what we get with young adults is the tech power and the tech savvy. So there's a lot of opportunities. So as I stated earlier, I believe that the time is right. The time is right now. Young voters have grown up in turbulent times, and they've been active consumers of information. Again, they're tech savvy, right? But however, they are politically astute, and they want to make an impact, and they want to make an impact quickly. And you've seen that in the recent times when they rose up for George Floyd, the LGBT community. They fought back against abortion laws, and they've demanded school loan relief. And we can go on and on and on. What they do know is that they will inherit the political, social, and environmental climates left to them by us, the Gen X and the boomers. But yet we do know what they don't do a lot of times. In comparison to us, they don't always vote. And so here is where our opportunity lies. When their energies are redirected to show their preferences through the power of their vote, their collective impact can make a massive difference. And so that's the answer to your question, Cecile. We have an opportunity.
Felecia, were you finished?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
back to you. Sorry.
Okay. All right. So what do you have any sort of specific ideas and plans that you would like to share with the members at this time? Just some ideas. I know you're at the beginning of this process, and
Correct.
you and the state office and Kay are going to develop a lot of other things, but what can you share with us at this time?
Well, as I said, there's a lot of opportunity. And in general, what we want to do at this time is we want to be able to reach out to the young adults. We want to register them to vote. We want to listen to them. We also want to inform them. We want to co-create with them. We want to mentor them, and we want to empower them and in order to meet the challenges that they are facing, not only today, but they will continue to face in the future. So what that looks like right now is later on, we'll be asking for our members to probably be on a steering committee, a planning committee, in order to move forward.
Okay, so a steering committee, and do you have any resources that you can start with to work with at this time?
Yes, absolutely. Recently, the League of Women Voters Florida received a donation from the Felecia Foundation, and in the amount of about $100,000. So we do have that donation, and it is earmarked for young voters or young adults ages 18 through 40. The other resource that we have is, and she will be speaking on this, is Kay. She's been doing a lot of work throughout the past several months. And her focus basically has been on the ages 18 through 24. So you'll hear more about that later on when Kay speaks. And I've had the opportunity, again, as Leah has stated, to work with Kay and discuss some of her ideas and some of the things that she's already made happen with students.
Can you tell us a little bit about how the Barancic grant donation is structured?
Well, let me first say about that. This came about, one of our past board members worked through this, and we got this donation. And as I said before, it's around $100,000. And what we see right now is that the program is based on 3 pillars. Pillar 1 is getting the register to vote, the student young adults registered to vote. And pillar 2 is more about education and informing them, the basic information about the differences in government, our systems of government, things that, again, that we're good at. And pillar 3 is a mentorship piece. And again, it's focused on young adults. And all 3 of these pillars are based on things that the League of Women Voters have been doing for over 100 years.
And how can our members get involved? You mentioned, can you go into a little more detail about the steering committee and where you are in the establishment of that process, so people can give you more inquiries or let you know they want to get involved? Can you talk a little bit more about
Absolutely. Again, we haven't ironed through the details. So what we want to do is, if anyone is interested to be a part of the steering committee to help us iron out the details of the program, we're asking you to let us know, and you can send us your interest at info@lwvfl.org. And I believe Leah is putting that in the chat. Leah Blake is putting that in the chat. And we want to move quickly on this because, of course, we have this donation. We want to start the process of talking about the details. And we're asking you to do this hopefully by February 14th. That's the day, Valentine's Day. We thought you would remember it. So if you could let us know by February 14th if you'd like to be a part of that discussion.
And would it be fair to say that you're at the very beginning of starting this steering committee? So if someone were to join, they'd be right there at the foundational efforts and could connect with others who have similar interest in working and focusing on young adults. And so they wouldn't be behind the 8 ball at all. Would that be fair to say?
That would be fair to say. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we're really looking for people who just have the time. Certainly people that have the interest, but then if people have had other experiences with young adults, working with them either on their job, in other volunteer capacities, or any special skill that could be really useful, connection with universities, things of that nature. A lot of times we think, oh, well, I'm older, what do I know? But if we really think about it, if we have time, most of us have real world connections that could be really, really helpful. Did you have anything you wanted further to add about any of this at this time, Felecia? I know we'll have a wrap up time at the end after we hear everyone speak.
Right. No, that's all I have right now. I'll wait for questions, and if anyone has those, I'm sure you can put those in chat or Q&A for later.
Right. We usually try to capture the questions at the end. Seems to be a little bit more efficient than breaking up. So right now, I'd like to turn it over to Kay Hovaleskund, and who is our employee, started out as an intern, realized that she had a passion to try to make these connections with the young adults in her life and in her work environment. So I'd like you to tell us a little bit about yourself. I know, Leah, I gave you a wonderful introduction, but tell us some things that would be helpful for people to know. Then I have a few questions for you, and I'll turn it over for your presentation.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that introduction, Cecile. My name is Kay. I am a white American 19-year-old woman. I am wearing dark red lipstick with some sparkles on my eyes, as well as a white sweater because it's a bit chilly out today. So I started at the League as an intern, as Leah and Cecile have mentioned, and over time I really began to fall in love with the League's mission and the resources that they were able to provide us young students and members alike. So I really just began following the League's mission and working alongside Leah. And when the position opened up, she offered me it, and I took it willingly. And I'm so glad that I did, because it has opened up so many wonderful opportunities for not only me, but my friends and my students that go to my college, and all those people in Orange County that are connected to me somehow. So I am so glad that I took that opportunity. Thank you again, Cecile, for that introduction.
Well, we are blessed to have you and your passion and your knowledge and where you are in your life. That's exactly what we need to learn more about. So we are very grateful for your willingness to share and mentor us. So it's really a two-way learning process, and you're an essential part of it. I'd like to ask you, what kinds of things are you working on right now, and what have you been working on at where you go to school? And tell us a little bit about that. That's really powerful and fascinating.
Absolutely. So I've been working on this for about, I would say 8 months now, 8 months or so, at UCF, University of Central Florida. And that is actually the largest college in the nation, undergrad college in the nation. So we have the potential to do amazing, wonderful things at this college. Orange County, the county that UCF resides in, also is the largest in the nation. So not only do we have the largest undergrad school, we have the largest local league that is starting this UCF chapter. So we really have the potential to make some big waves here. So over the past 8 months, I've been developing a constitution at my UCF advisors level. I have a UCF advisor that is helping me draft a constitution to help take to UCF and establish a club that is like no other club, that has a different mission than we do. So we have developed that mission relentlessly over the past 8 months, and we've also worked to find people that are committed. That has been the hardest part. Over the last few months, just finding people that are willing to commit their time and devote their time away from their studies to this. That's another thing for students, is that school does come first. So giving them the resources and the help they need to accomplish what they like to accomplish outside of school, that's very important. So we've collected about 12 students in the beginning stages, and now it is morphed into 50 plus students at our college chapter. So we have started a few social media accounts, and over the past week, we've grown tremendously, numbers I couldn't even imagine. So there's just so much momentum at UCF's campus for this. So that's a little bit about what the starting process was.
I think yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Cecile.
Well, I mean, on that one issue, I mean, that is such a statement, going from 15 to 50 and, just less than a month or two. What is the connective tissue or the passion that you are finding very successful in your outreach? I'm just curious. We need to bottle it and sell it, because this is truly amazing.
So what I've noticed with students is they want, like you mentioned, Felecia and Cecile both mentioned, that students have the passions that you guys have, that all members of all ages have, but they're just not open to the same resources, I would say, or suppose. So what I mean by that is they don't know what the league is. So when I say, hey, have you heard of the League of Women Voters? They say, no, what is that? And I'm like, oh my goodness, how have you not heard? We were the group that started the original, suffragette movement that morphed into this nonpartisan nonprofit. And I just explained in simple terms to them what the league is and what it's able to offer them. And they're like, wow, how did I not know this before?
Okay, so it sounds like one of the things that you're doing is using our historical reference points that most people are aware of. You are, like myself, pretty much most people have heard of the suffragettes. And so when you connect us to that, that's perceived as a real positive, and they kind of want to know, well, what is this group doing now? And that's one of the pathways that you help them get interested in the league. Is that correct?
Absolutely, that is correct.
Mm-hmm. And how often do you all meet?
We've been meeting regularly every about 2 weeks. We have our third meeting tonight, actually, and the roster is growing as we speak. So there's a lot of momentum here, like I've been saying. And another thing is breaking down information to students in a way that is digestible for them. So what I mean by that is using social media and using these platforms that we're not really familiar with, right? Like Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. They seem a bit scary, but those are the comfort spots for young students. These are where they hang out. This is where they spend their free time, how they connect with their friends and peers. So if we meet them at their level and get onto these platforms, and for example, I posted on Instagram a social media graphic that I created that I will share with you guys in a few moments. But I shared on Instagram that the League of Women Voters actually helped to start presidential debates before the presidential commission was put into place. So that's a super helpful fact that helps bring down like just how important or the relevance of the league to students. Like, hey, did you know that we started presidential debates? We have the potential to do so much more if you just join. So breaking that down, that information, digesting it for them, and just regurgitating it in terms that they're familiar with.
Right. So I'm hearing you say that it's interesting because with the young adults, you're actually using pivotal moments in history that they're generally aware of, but they didn't know where it came from. Absolutely. And so they get excited, I guess, when they see a women's organization. Hey, we're presidential debates, and hey, you guys work to get women's rights, to be able to vote. I mean, I'm hearing, imagining the excitement that young, independent, adults, and it could be a lot of young, late female young adults, how exciting that is to know that the history of women working together and being very effective and getting things done. Have you gotten to the place where they have started to express to you issues or things that they would like the league to help them work on, or are you just still in the education part, letting them know that they can be connected to this wonderful history that the league has?
No, students are coming to me. Some of the first things they're saying to me is, hi, they say their name, their major, and then they straight they go right into what they're interested in and what they would like the club to focus on. So we've kind of mirrored the chapter, or the unit, I should say, based off of how the state league operates. So we let our members, or our students, pick our priorities, and they actually picked all three of the top priorities for the state league. So they chose education, voting rights, environmental rights, and then the last one, which was poverty. I know the state leagues is reproductive rights, but they chose poverty. They felt that it encompassed more of the student needs. Rent stabilization and gun violence and mental health were also following topics. So they definitely come to me with these interests, and they want to know the resources that they are allowed to utilize for these issues.
Wow. That is super exciting. So has there been any discussion about trying to do a forum or community conversation at the school on some of these hot button issues that they're interested in? I'm just curious. I don't know how, or are they just at the phase of learning the different tools that are available and they're just still discussing?
So we're in our planning stages. We are trying to be about action. We really want the league's reputation to carry out on campus, and the league takes action. So we want our unit to take action as well. And so we're starting to plan events, and the events are going to center around education. So the way we're marketing it is to students is, hey, do you want to come paint pottery with us by the reflection pond? And while you're painting pottery, we're going to teach you about voting rights and why it's important to vote and how you can help. So we're just going to make it informational based and casual, and ways that students really like to connect with each other. They don't like when we have like big debates with different sides of the argument. That just stresses students out, and I don't think we like confrontation either. So having a casual conversation in a casual setting where we can come together on issues and have that middle ground is essential for students.
Are you finding that there's any political persuasion of the students more than the other that's gravitating to the new young adult unit, or what are you seeing, if you notice anything like that?
I noticed that they are very receptive to our nonpartisan message and the fact that we are issue-based. So I've been explaining to students that, we are nonpartisan and we want to carry out that in our mission. However, we take stances on issues, and they really seem to grasp that and understand that they are here to make change where change is necessary.
All right. Well, I understand that you have a presentation that you would like to share some of the work that you're doing, and I know that you're in the process of, and there'll be, when the steering committee gets involved, there'll be some additions. So I would say that everyone look at this. It's a work in progress. We're very proud of everything that Kay is doing, but if you see that something you'd like to see other things added, let us know, because she's just evolving this as we go forward, and we want to be very supportive, and just know that this is something that is evolving as we speak. Felecia, did you have any questions that my questions elicited? Any comments based on the things that Kay was sharing with us?
The only question that I would submit would be around the involvement of the local league with the unit league.
Yes, Felecia, I am so glad you mentioned that. So the way that the structure is going to work out, or the logistics of these college units, is that we want the local league to sort of adopt the unit. Obviously, if that is what the local league is able to take on, if that is in their goals for that year, they will adopt that unit, and essentially it'll be a sister chapter. So it'll act as their leadership role and who they look towards to get resources from and funds from if necessary. But the local leagues are going to act as that base camp. So when somebody joins our club, they're going to pay the dues for the club. If every university has different club requirements, but we are going to charge about $10 a semester for food and stuff for when the students meet with us. But we explain to them that there are no dues for the League of Women Voters. So they know that there is no dues to join Orange County. And when they join our club, once they pay their dues with us, the second thing they have to do, it's a requirement, is to join that local league that the college resides in. So they understand their dues and they understand the requirements of them, that they will be acting as a league member and holding that title as a nonpartisan defender of democracy.
So did you mention that the local unit, the college unit, will have some dues?
The local unit will, it's based off of every university. So for example, at University of Central Florida, most clubs do charge a due. But if you go to like Miami-Dade University or another college, they might not charge dues. So it just depends on the local university.
What is the requirement or guidelines at UCF for dues?
It's up to your club if you want to implement them. We do want to have snacks provided at our meetings. So we're only going to charge about $10, $15 a semester just to cover the food.
Did you say $2?
10 to 15.
10 to 15. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. And now I'd like to turn it over for you to make a presentation over some of the toolkits that you're developing.
Absolutely. I'm going to share my screen real quick. All right. So is everybody able to see? It should be a young member toolkit. Everyone able to see that?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. Just waiting for some feedback. So here's my toolkit. It's designed with the intention of being viewed by all ages. So I made this super digestible for everybody. There's a quick table of contents. It explains the purpose of the toolkit, how to grab and then keep that young person's attention, and then how to organize on college campuses. Like Cecile mentioned, if there's anything that you need help with that is not listed in this toolkit, I am always available. You're welcome to contact me afterwards. But the purpose of the toolkit is, like Felecia and I have been mentioning, is just really hounding on the fact that diversity is a part of the League's mission, and including young people in that is achieving DEI, and it is achieving the mission of the League. So that's the purpose of the toolkit. And then how to grab and keep young people's attention. So there are a lot of paragraphs in here. I'm not going to have you guys read them all, so I'm just going to go through briefly of what the toolkit consists of. But Kylie and I, my roommate, my co-partner, my best friend, started this league on UCF's campus with plants. And I know that sounds funny, but we really are connected to the environment, and students really care about the natural resources aspect of what the league does. So we took these plants and we passed them out on UCF's campus, and we attached Vote 411 QR codes to them. I know everyone here is familiar with Vote 411. That's one of our major victories of the last few election cycles, but we attached these QR codes to the propagations and passed them out, and there was just so much enthusiasm for them. And I noticed that students wanted to come to our tables because they were gravitating and they were fun and pleasing to look at, aesthetically pleasing to look at. So you can see in this picture, we have a huge Vote 411 tablecloth with lots of plants and lots of fun buttons and stickers for everybody. And here's another picture for you. And then we also gave out little cards that showed what the league is and how it started. And we were registering students on campus. That was our main purpose of the event. So I also included right here a conversation of how you can get young people's attentions in ways that you maybe not have thought of before. So for example, when you see a student passing by you, instead of saying, hey, are you familiar with the League of Women Voters? Start with something a little more approachable. Start with, hey, your hair color looks amazing on you, or that makeup is amazing. How did you do that? So when you start with something like that, it opens up their closed-mindedness a little bit, and they're like, oh, like let's talk about something that isn't with a clipboard in your hands, like, are you registered to vote? That seems a little bit intimidating. So if we pull it back a little bit and we're like, I love your shoes, like I have here, then you can go into it. Are you familiar with the League of Women Voters? No, I'm not. Tell me about it. Well, we are this awesome nonpartisan political organization that helps start presidential debates. Like I was talking about, connect that historical information, like Cecile said, and then go from there. Read their emotions, read their body language. How are they reacting to what you're telling them? And don't pressure them to do anything right then and there. Always offer the information for them to take home. Are you registered to vote? No, you're not. Well, you can do that online. Here's the information to do that. Here is how, just list it out for them. And then I also included some swag. We had some swag made with Orange County's voter services, and these were super well received on campus. We just had so much love for, these are the final product. We had Vote Your Values, which was kind of the mission that we wanted to stick with here, because it really just encapsulates everything that a student would want to hear. Vote your values. So those are some quick graphics. And now the how to organize on college campus is a little bit of a shorter section, only because it's going to look different on every college campus. So the way that I would suggest starting this out, bringing it to your local league, like, hey, how can we start another unit in our local league? Find that one student or that one group of students that catches your eye, that wants to make some serious change, and then help them, uplift them, help them find their student government and get them in contact with student government and bridge those connections. And that's how you're really going to get young people's attention and keep young people's attention. We brought a dog last time. Here's another fun picture. We brought a puppy to the table, and that just drew in so many students. They were like, oh my goodness, can I pet your dog? And as they were petting him, we just started unloading information on them. But that is all I have for you in the toolkit for now. Real quick, I did want to show you some promotional graphics that I created for all of the local leagues. These can be posted on your Instagram, Facebook, however you want to utilize them, but I created them for you because they really just speak to young people, and they're super easy and fun to look at. So we did an education one, for example. Knowledge is power. Continue to fight for education by joining the league today. And a reproductive rights one, for example. But all of these are going to be accessible to you guys, to the local leagues. So bring them to your local leagues and show some effort for young people. Let's build up our community and reach out to our grandkids and our friends and friends of friends, because it's a new year and there's so many possibilities. So thank you so much. That's all I have for you. And I will stop sharing my screen. There we go.
That was so professional and fabulous and fun and fresh. I want to be a part of the young adult effort, because those of us with a little more seasoning, we also want to stay current and love beautiful graphics like that. So we'll definitely work to place them where they'll be well received with young adults. But I'm going to tell you that to my eye, and I think I see others clapping and thumbs up, those are things that we can use throughout the entire league, because it's important for us to be current and look current, and it's important for us to demonstrate the bridging and the connections with all aspects of our community. And certainly college educated young adults is a pretty important group. We want everybody, but certainly college educated, there's just an expectation that they'll have the capacity and ability to do more research once they're shown the pathways of where are the best places to look at legislative history, or anything in a more in-depth manner, which we can think about as we think about our mentoring and memberships. So you have this like juggernaut going at UCF, and I applaud you and Leah for getting that going and putting the gas on that and your foot on the gas and getting that going. I was just curious if you had, and I know it's very preliminary, any other universities or colleges that you think that might be another good landing spot to implant this wonderful seed and let it germinate. Do you have generally any other places in mind?
I know of St. Pete. I know St. Pete is really active in the young community, so I would love to partner with them. I'm actually looking for a contact. So if anybody knows of any young people in St. Pete that are willing to get something started, definitely put them in towards my way. I will put my contact information in the chat for everyone.
Okay.
And I'll just add to that real quick, Cecile.
Yes.
I think this could happen at any location that we have a school at. What Kay's been doing is she's going through it at UCF, and she's going to create a framework. And this is what we want to provide to our local leagues, that you can kind of follow her framework, but then understand that each school, there might be some different bureaucracy issues. But we'd also have Kay available and possibly other people to kind of help consult in those regards.
Well, I'm seeing some wonderful comments in the chat of people saying they're very interested. So this Lunch and Learn is really yielding some immediate results, Leah, of people saying, hey, I want to know more. And Felecia, we'll make sure you have a copy of the Lunch and Learn chat so you and Kay can follow up with, whatever introductory meetings, and we can just keep it growing and keep it fresh and keep it moving. Leah, I guess it's time for us to look for any questions. Let me just offer to Felecia or Kay, did you have any closing remarks or any additional things you'd like to add before we open it up to questions?
I just want to say it's great work that Kay has done. I want to commend her for that, because we've talked a lot over the past several months. But again, I want to reassure and recommit to our DE&I objectives, not only from a young adult standpoint, but a lot of our young adults are dealing with a lot of the inequities of our system. So, from color, gender, economics, I think Kay alluded to that, as well as other preferences. The other point I want to make, I know we've tried this in the past. I think a couple of leagues have mentioned that one of the things that they've had issues with is that, you start at a university or a college, and as people graduate, then, the league, that particular unit dies. And that's one of the things that Kay and I have been discussing on how we can make sure it lives on. So that will be also part of the framework that I wanted to add.
I just wanted to add really quickly that a lot of times students, they are willing to accomplish everything that I've accomplished and more. They just need that support. So if you're willing to push them in the right direction, and maybe all they need is a quick nudge, like, hey, there's this person in Orlando that is helping you, like, that wants to see you succeed. Maybe that's all they need. So
it's really interesting, Kay, because I think we can not only take your methodology to young adults, but this is something we can consider to embed in our outreach to all ages. That soft touch, like when we have our voter registration tables, maybe we should put some plants there. Maybe we should have several suggested comments rather than immediately walking up, because I've done this for many years as a league volunteer. I know many of us have, and I'm pretty friendly, so I usually get a good response. But I think that just being very human, and we having a bake sale or whatever we choose to do, that's mom and pop and apple pie, and not pushy and too far of a way. And as the person engages, we can inquire. I love that, and I'm making a mental note now. I now do things. See, that my children have influenced me. I put things in my phone. Phone is very ancient, but I do, instead of writing everything, I put things in my phone so that I can go back to the spot of the note. So that really rang true and rang very valid. That soft approach, that human approach, and even the pottery painting thing. I mean, a lot of us get so busy, we just want to relax. We kind of want to get information, but don't hound me. Don't make me break my arm and get me to have to sign up at this minute. And I really think, again, it's a two-way street. And so here's everybody is witness who's on this Zoom. It's gone into my heart and mind to try to utilize some of the techniques that you've been very successful with your community, Kay, and to offer that as a suggestion. And I know Felicia's here with voter services. How did some of those soft approaches sound to you, Felecia?
I sound awesome, because again, when we're trying to get people to register to vote, we're just like focused on, would you like to register? And they're like walking by. So yeah, maybe comment on their hair or their shoes or something. And
I
start that conversation.
And I think the appearance of, plants are organic and friendly. They just communicate a whole nother vibe that we are caregivers, we're caring about the earth, we are connected to that. And that may be one of the issues that we want to talk about. So I'm making a note. So with that, I'll turn it over to Leah, who has been so good at catching notes and questions and comments. Leah, do your thing.
Sure. Thank you so much. And thanks to Kay and Felecia for speaking today. Kay, we are so proud of you. Let's see here. I'm going to hit the chat. We've hit some of the answers already, so I'll probably skip over those. But there's also a lot of great just comments in there, and kudos to both Felecia and Kay. So please read those when you can. I'm going to go back to the top, and Candy, she's asking about a very specific issue. But I think that maybe we can talk a little bit about getting young adults interested via what they're interested in, their issues. Candy's asking, how can we get all of these new young members to sign the Florida Clean and Healthy Waters Constitution Amendment petition? And Kay and I were just talking about this at lunch. So do you want to tell everybody what's going on in Orange County?
Absolutely. So I attended with my roommate Kylie at the Natural Resources Committee last night in Orange County, and we were bombarded with information about the Right to Clean Waters Act and all of the good stuff surrounding that. And we have just been so enthusiastic about this, the fact that we are able to take this on in the new semester and really get student momentum up for the Right to Clean Water Act. So we are actually thinking about holding a rally on UCF's campus as one of our first events this semester. So students are already super interested in that. We just need to get them the information. So a lot of students just don't know about it. And once they do, they are like, yes, where can I sign?
What is the deadline for getting the petition signed? And Blake, can you put that in, if you can find it, can you put it in the chat so people can download and sign and follow the instructions of where to turn it in? Because we do support that, and we will start getting a little more aggressive about reminding our members of their opportunities to sign, and also your family and friends and everybody you know, because clean water is essential to so many elements of that we need in Florida and everywhere you live. But Florida, we live on the water. We have tourism. It's just clean water is pretty key.
Thank you. And you'll be getting more information about that from us in the voter and through our voter services. Felecia and I just talked about it last night, actually, at our leader meeting. Kay, we shared your Instagram handle, but do you have any other LWVUCF handles you'd like to share with us?
At the moment, we are still working on getting them up, but if you could promote the Instagram, I would really appreciate that.
And want to share a little bit about the success of your Instagram? You might have mentioned it, but it's been going pretty well.
Yes, we started it exactly 1 week ago, and we already have over 500 followers. So if anybody knows the Instagram platform, that is very successful.
Excellent.
I might have to have you tutor me on that so I can be a better representative for a state league.
Okay. Alice is asking, are you paid? Does this fit a volunteer requirement?
What was that? I'm sorry.
Are you paid? Does this fit a volunteer requirement?
I am paid by the state. However, students really need volunteer hours. So if you could get a program set up in your local league where you can sign off on student volunteer hours, then students would, I promise you, they will volunteer for you, because a lot of programs actually require volunteer hours to graduate. So that's a really good, thank you for whoever asked that.
Emma's asking,
And I was going to say, in addition to the volunteer hours, we can help write positive letters of recommendation depending on the interaction. So there's volunteer hours, which are key and core, but also a personal statement from a mentor or someone involved that has worked with you could be very helpful. Go ahead, Leah.
Sure. Emma's asking, can local groups offer or recruit high school students for unpaid or paid learning opportunities during sessions? Students who want to go into law or other fields are likely to welcome a hands-on intro to being part of session activities, from seeing and hearings to tracking bills, etc. I'm just going to say in that regard, like with the League of Women Voters of Florida, that's how Kay started, as an intern. So she became an intern. We noticed that she had a desire a passion for what we do and a desire to learn and do more. An opportunity opened up and we were able to hire her. But I think there are volunteer and internship opportunities out there for students.
So just for clarification, Leah, when you say Kay started as an intern, was she a volunteer intern or a paid intern?
Kay was an unpaid intern when she started.
Very good. Thank you.
Cynthia is asking, how important is free membership to the young members? Felecia, would you like to answer that question?
Well, I think the first thing is to get them interested, and then once you share that it's actually free and they don't have to pay, and especially if they're young students, volunteer hours, letters of reference. But for even those young adults that are starting out in their career, as long as they are students, if they may be working on their master's, they could be working on anything, as long as they are at an accredited college, not having to put out that amount of money in these economic times, that does give an opportunity for people.
Thanks, Felecia. Lee is asking from Orange County, are there U.S. requirements for organizing at this level, and how is that being incorporated into UCF for organizing a club? And I'll go ahead and answer what I've learned from U.S. is that their recommendation is that exactly what Kay has said. They would love it if the local league would kind of adopt the units and work with them. And how Kay and Orange County are doing it is really wonderful, because they're feeding membership into Orange County. And I want to make a note that Kay did speak with Barbara, one of the co-presidents, before starting all of this. So she was already in collaboration with her local league before making moves on campus. If there is not a local league around you, the students have the opportunity of creating what is called a unit. We have member at large units, and it would be similar in that regard. Kay, did you want to add anything to that?
No, you covered it perfectly.
Great, thank you. Maxine is asking about having a lunch and learn on all this tech stuff and how to use it to promote the league objectives. What a great idea. We're actually doing that in membership. Kay has actually been the person leading those trainings, but what a great idea to do it for our lunch and learn. So we'll make a note of that. I like the idea, and we're getting super close to the end here. I like the idea of having business cards you can give to people with QR codes. Is that too old school? Okay, what do you think?
Absolutely not. Students love their QR codes. I will tell you that.
And Tracy is asking, have male students had any interest or involvement?
Oh, great question.
Yes, we have over, I think, 10 student members in our 50+ group. So I think that's pretty good turnout for only a month of recruiting people. We are super keen on making sure we're hitting that diversity point, and that includes men too. So we are working hard on that. Yes.
Okay, I'm going to hit one.
Go ahead, Leah.
I was going to hit one more question, but I will let you know that this toolkit that Kay and Felecia has developed has been deployed to our membership chairs, and I believe it's also been in the voter, but we will add it again for you. Let's see here. I had one. Oh, someone was asking if you were going to be working with other organizations on campus, like the one that you're working with, Vote with Ariel, and with that
Yes,
organization. Yeah.
I'm working with Campus Vote Project right now. And also, if you have any other clubs or anything, any official organizations on your campus, as long as they know that we are nonpartisan and that we will espouse nonpartisan, you know, so as long as they know that and they are okay with partnering that with us, it's just more members. So
That sounds great. Well, Felicia and I happen to be members of historically Black sororities, Greek sororities on many of the campuses. So we'll reach out to our leadership that works with young people on campuses and just put the bug in their ear. And if they show any interest, we'll turn them right over to you and Felicia to follow up.
I think we're at the end of our hour. So Cecile, if you want to wrap us up again, I
Yes,
just want to say thank you to Kay and Felicia, and thank you.
Thank you for this incredible energy for young adults, and the fortuitousness of the league has some really great tools. And we started out, that's how we got Kay involved. We had openings for internships, unpaid, and then with our grants and different opportunities, we were able to find some hours for her, which is very helpful to have her participate in a more consistent way. So with the grant opportunities and the opportunities to be on the steering committee, we really welcome everybody to participate and start planning out other ways of working on those 3 pillars, many of which flow exactly with what Kay has been doing. We want to also give a special shout out to Julie Kessel, who introduced her friends, the Baranczyks, to the league, and was just recently a former board member and did a lot of the heavy lift in informing the Baranczyks and encouraging them to make this wonderful donation grant to us. So please do follow up with Felicia and Kay and Leah, and we'll get that steering committee going and get it working. Thank you all and have a wonderful holiday. Oh, and we'll start, you'll get our voter, but we're going to be doing some programs, I should say, with regards to Black History Month, which is February. We did the alert that many of you got on the African American history, AP history thing. We're going to be doing a DEI program. You'll hear more about that. And February 14th, Valentine's Day, is actually LWVUS's 103rd birthday. So we'll come up with some little birthday celebration information to share with you. So there's a lot going on in the month of February. Everyone have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye, thank you.